I can't even describe it, but I cherish it every second that I can. Every second of every day. We just had our prayer, our DB prayer we do every Wednesday. Outside, he was next to me, and I just grabbed his hand a little bit harder, just because you never know when like the last day could be that you getting to experience something like this. So I'm cherishing it every moment I
On
can.
today's video, tragedy struck the NFL on Monday night. We're going to take a look at the Chiefs injury report, and we're going to give you our first look at Chiefs versus Raiders with new quarterback Jarrett Stidham. Stick around.
So the entire sports world was rocked on Monday night with the events that took place with DAMAR HAMLIN going into cardiac arrest after a hit from T. Higgins. Very unfortunate. There's just no words to talk about this other than, you know, just a tragedy. And I wish that, everybody would just keep DAMAR HAMLIN and his family in your prayers. I mean, that's all you can do right now. Mike, you have an update on what's going on with HAMLIN at the moment.
Yeah, like first and foremost, like nobody's equipped to talk about this kind of stuff. It's weird. Um, I was actually driving when I got the news and I didn't even get to see it. I finally caught the clip before it started getting pulled off Twitter, and it just looked horrible. Like you don't expect that. I know the players were probably in shock. Like we get on today and we're thinking about talking about Chief football, and this is what we do, and it's like you're not equipped for it. But we got to be positive. The update today was, and it's not been 100% confirmed, but we're going to go ahead and throw it out there. Um, they said his lung function is back to 50%. He's still intubation. He's still on that. So they're still helping him breathe a little bit. But they're trying to get his lung function back to 100%, so his lungs can heal. That's a very positive sign to this point. He is still sedated, but it looks like he is making progress if this report is to be believed. So that's positive, man. The prayers are working. Yeah, like I don't know what else to say. It's weird.
There's nothing you can say about it. I mean, it's bigger than football. I mean, everybody was kind of tuning in all of Chiefs Kingdom to see who was going to win this game because it decided the number one seed in the playoffs. And, all year when we're just talking about football, it seems like the playoffs and getting that Super Bowl is like the biggest thing in the world. And that means everything. But, just one thing can happen and totally change that perspective to where that's kind of meaningless. It doesn't really matter. We got a 24-year-old that's fighting for his life right now, and it's sad. Um, but all we can do is keep praying and keeping them in your thoughts, and hopefully everything will look up on that. So the NFL actually came out today and stated that they're not going to go through with that Bills and Bengals game. They're not going to play it this week, so they're going to go ahead with the normal Week 18 schedule. A lot of people have been speculating how that's going to affect the playoff seeding and this and that. And I mean, to me, I'm still in the mode where it doesn't really matter. There's a whole lot of other stuff going on that's not that big of a deal. But we're just like the rest of you. We don't really know what's going on with it. We'll find out as you find out when the NFL decides on what they want to do.
Yeah. If you guys know us, our dad was a minister, so we're very big into like faith and things like that. So I don't. It just feels weird that everybody says pray and stuff, and it's like I don't know. Maybe I kind of would just want to pray now if that's cool. Can we do that?
Go for it.
Yeah. God, just watch over Hamlin and his family. It's tough, man, and we believe prayer works, and we have faith that you will work miracles. So yeah, I just pray that in Jesus' name, Amen.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on into the Kansas City Chiefs injury report that they released today. It looked like Joe Tooney was back at practice, Mike, wasn't he?
Yes, Joe Tooney was back at practice. He had the ankle injury. We thought he was probably going to sit this week, probably just for no other reason than that we don't necessarily have to win the game. It'd be nice to win the game, but I would rather have a healthy Joe Tooney going forward than to get a
Yeah,
win. You know what
absolutely.
I'm saying? So yeah, he was back though. It limited practice. It was limited, but that's a good sign for us. Sky Moore's hand, he did not practice today. I would think Sky Moore will be ready to go by game time. I think this is just precautionary. I'm not for sure if he had to get stitches or not. I kind of feel like he probably had to. That's not been verified. At least I've not seen. L'Jarius Sneed, his hip injury, he did not practice today, but I do think he'll be fine considering he did get back in the game late. And then Nick Bolton, he had some rib injuries, but he was a full participant today. So it looks like we're decently healthy. Mako Hardman has to be activated by today when you're seeing this on the 4th, he has to be activated or he is going to have to miss the entire playoffs. So I look to see him be activated. He may or may not play this week. We'll have to see. But yeah, going forward, we look to be somewhat healthy going into the playoffs. Fingers crossed that this next game we continue to be healthy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the most important thing about this team going into the playoffs. They haven't exactly been playing inspired football lately, but they can get that fire back. But they definitely going to need everybody healthy and ready to go to make a run in the playoffs. So very, very, very important there. With that being said, we got one more game to go before the playoffs start, and that's this Saturday, Saturday evening actually. We're playing the Raiders. We got a different look at the Raiders this time, man. They have a different quarterback. Everyone heard about Derek Carr leaving the team for the rest of the year, and they have Jarrett Stidham in there. Stidham didn't look too bad against the 49ers last week, Mike. So could be a whole different ball game this time around.
Yeah, we all know Jarrett Stidham from his time in Auburn. He was drafted by Belichick. He was coming in to possibly be a Tom Brady replacement at one point. The kid's got a big arm. He's a big guy. Like, I think to me, he looks just as big or bigger than Derek Carr when I see him out there. He stands in the pocket. He takes a lot of hits, but he completes a lot of balls as well. He's got pretty good accuracy, strong arm. He's very mobile. He can get out of the pocket and beat you with his legs as well. And yeah, he's decent. He's got really good field vision as well. Last week against the 49ers, that is a tough defense, but his stat line was 23 for 34. That's 67.7% completion percentage, 365 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he did have 2 picks. Yeah, he had a 108 rating and a 77.4 QBR. So he looked pretty good. Yeah, so there was one play where he rolled out of the pocket to his left. He got drilled. He took a shot, but he put a strike right on Devontae Adams. He got behind the defense, 60-yard touchdown pass. And yeah, the kid can play. I think he's pretty good going forward. I kind of thought this was just an experiment and they're going to look to the draft. They still may, but I think they're evaluating this kid to see if they can look at him going forward next season.
That's definitely a possibility. I mean, McDaniels was probably with him in New England at one point, I'm sure. So, I mean, he knows about him. They have a relationship together, and maybe he believes that he could come in and take that starting role. But this Raiders team, man, can't take them lightly. It being the last game of the year, they haven't been the greatest team this year, but they are back to probably about as healthy as they've been all year. Granted, they have the new quarterback in, but they still have Devontae Adams. Hunter Renfro's back and healthy. Darren Waller's back and healthy. Josh Jacobs has been running great this year. So this is not going to be a pushover team this weekend, man. So the Chiefs have to come out focused, and they're going to have to play disciplined, and they're going to have to put this team away, man. They can't play around with them like they have been a couple of these teams the last few weeks.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is the week our defense needs to come together. This is their last, I want to say, trial run before the real games start. This is it. So I want to see them go out and prove that they've gotten better, that they've got over some of the woes they had, the mid-season woes. Prove that they're a stout defense. I want to see a pass rush that looks consistent. I want to see penalty-free football. And then when it comes to the offense, I want to see our execution get better. I want to see Sky Moore possibly keep getting more involved. And I want to see how our offensive line has progressed. Our tackles going up against 2 monster pass rushers here again. Yeah. I want to see how much we've gotten better at the tackle position over the past 5 to 6 weeks, because on paper and according to PFF, we all look a lot better. But this is going to be a big test going into the playoffs, and I want to see how we hold up.
Yeah, I think a lot of Chiefs Kingdom want to see that particular matchup over there with Orlando Brown, because he's been playing a lot better as of late, but a lot of people have attributed it to him playing lesser competition. He's getting another look at Max Crosby and Chandler Jones here, so he's going to have his time to go ahead and prove to everybody, like, hey, man, I've stepped it up. I'm actually playing good. It's not just because I've been playing lesser competition. So I think people's going to be watching that matchup in particular, and that's something I'm going to be looking at as well, because obviously, you know, protecting Patrick Mahomes is number one, especially going into the playoffs. If we go in there healthy and everything, let's make sure Mahomes can stay on his feet and get some time to throw the ball.
Yeah, I totally agree. I want to see Mahomes clean uniform. That's the one thing I want to see out of this week, is Mahomes' uniform to be crystal clear. The cleanest, most pristine thing you've ever seen, unless he does have to slide on a run. But I would prefer him not even to run. Let's just throw it away, and let's just get into the playoffs healthy. That's the number one key here. Yeah, this game's big if we want to secure home field throughout the playoffs. But again, the NFL is in a weird state right now. This is uncharted territory. At this point, if they was to come in and cancel the season, I don't know if I'd even argue it. This is odd, and it's weird, and it's just strange. We don't know what's going on Saturday. We don't even know if we're going to have the home field. I know people's been floating it if the Bills and the Bengals have to have a tie or have to forfeit and count it as a percentage, that the Chiefs should maybe not take the number 1 seed and forfeit our game versus the Raiders. And these are all crazy scenarios. It really is, but it's because nobody knows what's going on. This is the weirdest time in the NFL history that I can possibly remember.
Yeah, I mean, we all witnessed something that's never happened before. It was very odd to experience, and I'm sure everybody was shook by it. I'm sure everybody in that crowd was shook by it. I mean, how many times do you go to a sporting event and you have to turn around and leave, a few minutes into the game? Like, just a very weird thing. And once again, that's the most important thing here is Hamlin's health and everything, and all the rest of it. It'll go the way it goes, and it'll be what it is. But everybody should just stay focused on praying for Hamlin and his family, and hopefully he can have a recovery from what's going on.
Yeah, I totally agree. The football seems meaningless, but here we are. I think somebody left in the comments that we debated putting out a video yesterday. It just didn't feel right. It really didn't. But at the end of the day, we said, hey, we're not really getting lots of updates. It does look like he's making a little bit of progress. Let's get back a little sense of normalcy. Some people, they cope with things differently, and some people just want to cope with just things being normal a little bit. So again, yeah, we've debated even doing another video today, but here we are. We're going to do it. If anything, just encouraging people to pray for Hamlin and keep that family in their prayers. And also the Bills and the Bengals. That was rough on both of those guys.
Right. Yeah, absolutely tough situation. But I think, getting back to some sense of normalcy is part of the healing process for everybody after you experience something like that. Obviously, you never want to forget about what happened, and you want to keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and that's the most important thing. All right, guys, make sure to get down in the comments. Look at the pinned comment. We're actually going to put a link to Hamlin's fundraiser that he had for the community to help with underprivileged kids and everything. Everybody's been donating to it. That's a good gesture. If you would like to donate to that, get down there, click that link, and go do it. We encourage it. Also, you can check out this video that we put out yesterday. Get in the comments, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and pray for DAMAR Hamlin. And we'll be back tomorrow with more on Chiefs football.
See you guys. Be safe.
There goes a sight from my soul.